Hello, welcome to Yoga Soul Flow. This is Teresa Phelps Martin here in the Soulfully You Facebook group. And good morning, Hope, and here with you, freshly showered after quite an adventurous morning. But it feels so good. So I'm still doing a couple of things, so bear with me. But unroll your mat, have access, actually no, don't worry about access to a wall today. We'll get going on that soon. But we are going to do some yoga. And our class today holds this energy of opposition. Attention is what motivates us. Attention is what keeps us moving forward in our lives, but it's also what can create a lot of emotions. Sorry, I'm like, whatever. Feeling like tension within myself. Anybody else there? So, when we have a stubborn opposition of earth and water, know that revolves around pleasure, money, resources, sexuality, because that is our energy that we create with and from. It is also the place of vulnerability, the place of being steady and sustainable and great transformation. So notice how this opposition is very powerful. One feels very physical, right? That materialistic, that you can produce something, you can create something, you can take the energy of your essence and put it forward as long as you're nourishing it. However, that also is going to be destructive. Okay, so think of just springtime, where so much is coming alive and there's so much beauty and so much is unfolding, right? We see the coming forward of the abundance. If you garden, if you farm, right? You plant seeds to grow the crops, to bear the fruit, to nourish you. However, the opposing energy of that is where you plow the field, right? Like you put it to rest. You harvest all and then you let it die so that it can be reborn. So we have kind of this birth-death energy, and that's the relationship of a stubborn opposition. It's happening always, all the time. It's just a little more loud right now. And so when we have a relationship of a stubborn opposition, especially something that's more internal. Hey Pat, it was so lovely seeing you in person the other day. Randomly, surprisingly, at a garden center, the plant kingdom. I gotta sit on something, you guys. So while we have the energy of opposition, we have this place of internal, right? It's in and down. It's not up and out, right? So we're not literally going down to burn the fields. We're actually planting seeds in the darkness. And just so you know, those of you who like to garden, auspicious times to plant things are when the moon is in a water sign or Taurus. So the moon will still be in Scorpio as I'm recording this today. So great time. Not really a great time to plant seed because you want to wait till the moon is in really in Taurus, which will be May in 2 weeks, okay? Which is more aligned with our temperatures too. So if you can plant today, it's great, but it's really about letting go. When you plant things into the ground, you surrender. If you're going to take care of it, you're going to nourish it, but you don't know if it's going to make it, right? We've already had some frosts and freezes, and it really is a surprise, everything made it. So that keeps us in the place of spontaneity, and that's why we need opposition. Because if we were always steady, if we always did good, if we were always in this place of just total enlightenment, how would we be motivated? what would drive us forward. So that energy of change is really important. Like, who isn't so happy that the tides are changing right now, right? We just actually can be excited for Derby, those of us in Kentucky, and Louisville more so than anywhere else. Not so much for any reason other than, wow, it's not the same. There's not the big explosion of energy, but we still see the beauty. And why do you think they have the Derby the first Saturday in May? Because it is just beyond spectacular, beautiful. Even if it's cold and rainy, everything's in bloom. Like, my mom just moved here, and she was like, I have never seen so many dogwoods before in my life, and they're spectacular. So we need the opposition, right? We needed those trees and those plants to retreat and to dismantle so that then they can give new life. And that is what is steady. And that is what we're going to feel. That down and in energy, we are going to feel the grounded nature and the... I listen to an astrologer every day, Anne Ortley, and she was talking about, she used a Rumi poem and the emotions. There's going to be a lot of emotions if you haven't already felt them. And we can feel a lot of opposition with our emotions. They can be stubborn, right? Like, I feel sad. Why am I sad? I don't want to be sad. I do yoga. Sadness isn't who I... Sadness is part of our soul. We don't get rid of it because it's a guide. It's a messenger from deep within, directing us to an area that needs us to slow down and tend to those parts and pieces. Now, what you need to do is know how you address sadness. War is inevitable. So you don't want to be at war with your emotions. You want to be like, wow, I'm sad. Perhaps I need to call a friend, expand my resource list of who I know I can lean into, seen and unseen, and also know, hey, I need a pause, a sacred pause, time to let myself feel so I can move through, not try to get rid of, because that sadness is something buried so deep within that if you deny and try to change your feelings really quickly, then what you're doing is you're denying yourself your essence, your nature. Yes, I know we all want to feel good all the time, but we dance and we ebb and flow. Think about what you're about to feel on your mat. Right? It's not always a big heart-opening, high hit, woo, that's not sustainable. So our emotions dance because our energy dances. Just like if you read the dandelion post that I made, it opens and it closes, right? It dismantles so it can plant seeds again. It was just so beautiful and so very spot on for this stubborn opposition. And I think about when my kids blow the dandelion seeds, how many people are probably in their homes angry that they're putting weeds in their yard. So that's that. Let's move. We are going to start standing in our light, standing in our fullness, standing at the top of the mat. And we're going to start and we're going to breathe on our 2 feet. Feel the physicality, the physiology of being stubborn, of what it would feel like if we didn't move. So we are going to stand there for at least a minute, definitely 9, let's go 8 really powerful breaths. And I just want you to breathe through your being. If you want to breathe from your roots and then through each chakra, that invitation is really powerful because what you're going to do is clear the furniture out of your house to really release and let go. So you can allow the freshness and the newness to come alive and be born within and celebrate that energy that's there for you. Always call on the highest. Know that you are in charge of you. It's really sweet. I listen to Anne Ortley every day. You can actually subscribe to this. But she quotes a poem that's been a part of my life for over 20 years. It's really sweet to be reminded of that every day. And it's funny because my husband gave me the poem when we were in college, long before I knew he would be my husband. So there's just an unfolding that we can't completely see. So when we call on the highest and we realize we have a choice within that energy and we breathe from that space, we can breathe into that fullness that we already are and that we continue to become. So 8 breaths through your being, acknowledging yourself and the way you need to acknowledge oneself. Allow your head to bow down. Breathe into the back part of your heart, down and towards your hips. Bring your hands to your hips, shoulders to your back. You're going to bend your knees, hinge at the hips, fold all the way forward, touch the earth. Open your eyes looking at your feet. Bend the knees, roll the spine up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Shrug your shoulders towards your ears. Open the heart up. We're going to be a little dramatic. Draw the belly in, bend the knees. Exhale, fold all the way down. Touch the earth. Knees, you can straighten your legs for the full extension, then bend the knees again. Inhale, roll the spine up. Shoulders lift up. Roll the shoulders back. Open the heart, and then bend the knees. Pull that core in. Get grounded. Let the heart dive forward, and then roll the spine up. Feeling very strong to your center because our spine sustains us. It gives structure to our physicality. And then the fluidity allows our soul to come forward and to speak through. Inhale, shoulders lift, heart opens. Exhale, knees bend, bow, 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 bow. Illuminate all that's there. All that's tight, roll the spine up. Shoulders are lifting up and they're rolling back. Now we're not just dropping here. The core is drawing in. You're really holding steady to the center. Heart opens and then exhale. Hinge at the hips all the way down. Hands touch the earth. Left foot goes back. Left knee comes to the ground. So notice how when we first started, you either felt like you could breathe for 8 more minutes there, or you wondered if the video stopped, or could you hear me? Right? So just notice that stubborn opposition, how you kind of get fixated. Hug the legs towards each other, draw into the belly. Hands are going to reach back. So you're lunging forward. Hands reach back, shoulders drop back. Bend the elbows, draw the shoulders in, and then feel the link through the spine. So roof of the mouth, heart, pelvic floor into the earth. Turn the front foot out if you need to. I have to for my knees. You do you. You get to be you, and hopefully this group allows you to be soulfully you. You're going to inhale now, rise up, and notice how much you were ready to let go and open up. Big full breath in. Exhale the hands to the earth. Inhale the knee up. Lunge forward, shift forward. Square the hips off. Pull into the center. Pause here. Soften the heart. So you're just in a warrior 3 alignment with the legs, but you're going to be in a standing forward bend with your arms. So yes, full volume, straight down that right leg. Pull up into the right waistline. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And then exhale, left foot goes back, hands ground down. Right leg's gonna go to the sky. Bend the right knee, open the hip up, keep your shoulders steady. Lots of strength, wiggle your toes out. And then exhale your knee to your wrist, all the way down to the earth. So we're gonna feel the opposition. Do you see that? Of being steady and then a sudden change. A steady and a sudden change. Steady, sudden change. That's the opposition we're gonna work with, because things are gonna really start to go in our life. And I don't wanna get too astrological on you, just trust me. We're moving into a time and a season where cultivating practices at a higher frequency of how to really nurture our innermost self is gonna be a little bit essential. It's all good. It is all good. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just nice to know. It's nice to know it's a good time to do those sort of things. One more breath. So push the arms down, shoulders draw in, inch the back knee in, lift the back knee, and then climb into forearm plank. Full breath in, knees come to the ground, hips come to the ground, Sphinx pose, palms turned up, shoulders drawn to the back. Let your head move around, stay lifted into the core, but feel that how steady you can be, but you can continue to sustain the energy of you, and that requires us aligning more deeply to the cycles of not just the universe or the seasons or the days, but our lives. Big breath in. And then exhale, melt all the way down. Hands sweep back, feet sweep back. Draw into the center, so hug into the midline. Rise up, big full breath in. And then exhale, hands to the ground. Toes are gonna tuck. You're gonna pull up through a table all the way into child's pose. Inhale, hands stretch forward, draw into the core, rise up onto your hands and knees, toes are gonna tuck, move back. So when you move back, pull into the midline, hug the arms towards the midline, belly's lifting, lift from deep within, right? We're really in the low belly today, the sacrum and the throat. Slowly walk your feet forward, right? And so just anatomically for a second, these two curves, the lumbar curve and the cervical, right? Your lumbar and your cervical, they are actually there and work in opposition to the heart center. So just realize it's pretty profound how we're created and structured, not just physiologically and anatomically, but energetically. Bend the knees, chin to your chest. Roll the spine up vertebrae by vertebrae. Feeling the clearing of furniture we just did through the intensity. My practices aren't a circus, but there is an intensity. Lift the heart, shoulders open up, pull into the core, knees bend, bow forward, all the way to the earth. Roll up. Rolling, 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 shoulders to the back, open the heart, knees bend, thighs pull back, draw into the core, pour forward, rolling the spine up. We're only doing these three. Shoulders to the back, exhale all the way down. Hands touch the earth, right foot goes back, low lunge. Feet are grounded, legs hug in, draw into the core. As your feet are planted and you're hugging in, lift into that center line, hands sweep back, shoulders draw in, clasp, different clasp. Find length through the spine and breathe here. That stubborn opposition. So there's a part of you that's ready to move forward, to leap forward. And we're in this steady pause that we're illuminating the areas that are ready to move And what are we leaning into? What's the foundation that's holding us? Draw the belly back, lift the heart, big full breath in, rising up. Oh yeah. And then exhale, pour it forward. Hands to the earth, back knee's gonna lift. Draw in, so the left leg goes straight up to the sky, rock solid, steady. Open the hip up. I'm not wearing real yoga pants, so we'll see how it goes. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and then exhale. Knee to the wrist, pigeon, all the way to the ground. We gotta get deep into the soil. What are you planting in your own life? Every choice you make, you are actively voting in how you want the world to be. I know that creates kind of a heavy responsibility, right? But I will say, my kids make me accountable. I don't like it that I yell a lot, but it's my truth. I call it out, I own it, and then I ask for help. I ask my kids for help, and yeah, granted, I do ask them to cooperate a little better, but when they do cooperate, we really celebrate it. We acknowledge it. We talk about how good it makes everybody feel when we work together. Because there's gonna be destruction, there's gonna be chaos, there's gonna be commotion in our lives. So if we can acknowledge what we're feeling, okay, and then call in resources, then we can adapt and stay steady with what matters, but know what needs to dissolve so something new can be reborn. From your pigeon, back knee draws in, heart softens. Lift the back knee, forearm, plank, feeling the breath, feeling the connection, the potency and the power that you have within yourself. And then hips come to the earth, palms turn up, heart opens, nice little old Sphinx pose, breathing all the way in and all the way out. And then exhale, heart melt. So lead with the heart, lead with the light within, that full light that you have, that potential you contain. Arms sweep back. So you're not like, you're feeling the buoyancy and you're hugging into it. You're creating the container for the energy to flow through. And that's that stubborn opposition. The universe is gentle and kind. In the unfolding of our days, it usually complements. So it's not like we have this grounded energy at this full moment of opposition that is, one is pulling us to the earth and one of us is pulling us up and out into the world. So both the axis of energy is to ground. It's with resources. Hands ground down, feet ground down. Inhale, up and back. Child's pose. Right, next month when the opposition surfaces, it will be more about how are we communicating and how are we using the wisdom that's coming through, especially right now. And wisdom surfaces when you let go, when you surrender. Exhale out completely, hands sweep forward. Ground the hands down. You're going to push your hands to the earth. So when your hands push in, you can feel the undersides of the arms lifting. Draw up through the core, heart soft, toes tucked. You're going to pull the thighs up and in, waistline back the whole way into your dog pose. Full deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Slowly walk forward. And as your feet walk forward, find them beneath you and bow. Inhale, find length one time. Bend the knees, curl up, ripple the spine. Feel that connection through the midline, shoulders lift, heart opens. Big, gracious breath in. Bend the knees all the way down to the earth. Hands ground down. Step back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Knees, chin, chest, all the way to the earth. Inhale, cobra, and then pull it up and back, downward dog. Inhale in, exhale out. Walk the feet forward. So slow and steady is where we are. Bend the knees, inhale, roll the spine up. Now we're feeling the fluidity, right? Now we are staying steady to our intention. Step back, downward dog. Inhale, plank, knees, chin, chest, all the way to the earth. Inhale, heart's curling up. So we're really working with the resources, feeling where we're vulnerable. And what do we need to do to actually feel more steady? I'll tell you right now, it's boundaries. Knees bend, pull into the center, hug into the core, shoulders drawn to the back. Inhale, open the heart. Oh, so dramatic. Step it back, downward dog. Inhale, plank, knees, chin, chest, all the way to the earth. Inhale, cobra. Stay close to the ground, especially when there's water and earth. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk it forward. Yes, we're doing 5. Bow. Bend the knees, roll up, shoulders to your back, heart opens. Exhale. Bow it forward, step back, downward dog. Inhale, plank, knees, chin, chest. Inhale, curl it open. Move it back. You've got the rhythm. Right? That was 4? I don't know, was that 3 or 4? Knees bend, roll the spine up. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bow. Hands to the earth. Downward dog. Plank. I know, it's fluid. You can move super slow, right? Feel the connection of your muscles. Don't just move through to check off the boxes. Bow in, knees bent. Roll the spine up, shoulders to the back. I think we just need one more. Bow to the ground. Step it back. Downward dog. Inhale, plank. Knees, chin, chest. Open through the heart. Move it up, move it back. Downward dog. Walk it forward. Both feet to the earth. I forgot something, didn't I? Bow to the ground. Breathe in. And breathe out. I know I did. Inhale, find length. I left out that warrior 3 standing forward bend moment. Okay, knees bend. Left foot goes back. Pivot the heel to the ground. And then you're going to lunge, Stananyasana. Okay, I don't want you dropping into the earth though. So stay up high. And you're just going to pulse here. Right? So right toes are lifted. You're just pulsing and you're feeling this inner thigh. Then you're going to slowly come down and lift this arm up. Big, gracious breath in. And then exhale the hand to the earth. Turn all the way around, all the way around. Turn both feet to the long edge of the mat. Ta-da! The hips are not dropping, the shoulders are to the back. It's a big stretch to the side body. And then exhaling hand to the earth. Move back, downward dog. Feel your dog. Check in with your hands. Bend the knees, roll the hips to the right. Knees bend, just wake up that left sideline. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, come through the center. Walk the feet forward. Bow into it. Inhale, find the length. Bend the knees. So this side's going to go a little differently, okay? You're going to pivot. Turn the right foot out. Left toes come up, so you're not dropping into it. You're here. You're on a little bit of an angle. And breathing. Right? We're not dropping. I want you to feel the stretch of the inner thigh. Is one side more stubborn than the other? Right? And then you're going to pulse into it. Lunge. So it's just, I'm playing with the poses. Right? Feel the playfulness. How do you respond when it's different than what you thought? And then exhale. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pivot around because we've got to stretch that left leg out. Shift the weight forward. Right leg comes parallel. Pull into the midline. Draw into the belly. And fold. Maybe you guys remembered to do it and I forgot. Big deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then we're going to exhale, bend the knee. Right foot goes back, and then you pivot. This is where we're going to feel that lift through the pelvis, through the core. So we're not sagging. Shoulders are to the back. Stretch the arm up. Actually, we went this way, didn't we? Big full breath in, and a full breath out. Exhale, pull it back. Downward dog. See? You can be stubborn in the fact that you're going to forget, but then you can come back to it. And vulnerability is going to make us feel more, but feel happier, more connected. Bend the knees, lift the heels, stay really strong through your arms, and your hips are just rolling over towards the left, breathing into that right sideline. Inhale, come all the way back through the center, knees to the earth, toes tucked if you can, hips go back towards your heels, shoulders drawn to the back. Feel the lift and connection. Gracious breath in, gracious breath out. And then inhale, come all the way upright, hands to the earth, bend the elbows all the way to the ground. Bend both knees, find both hands to both feet, shoulders to your back. And inhale, rise. Check in. So clearing out the hamstrings, little twist, grounding. Hopefully your low back feels really good. Big full breath in. Stretch the heart forward. It's not about how big you go, but rather how connected you are. Exhale all the way to the ground. Pillow, rest the head. So yoga, the practice of yoga, whether it's physical like this, meditative, it's all about uniting the opposing energy. So when you have the relationship between a stubborn opposition, one of the material world and one of the soulful or emotional, think about that. The material, which is, we can really say, gets caught up in our identity, what we have, versus what we desire, right? You're going to roll over. Roll over. And desire isn't necessarily like, ooh, I want a big house with a green yard. Our house is just right, but I do desire more aesthetically pleasing elements. But that's me. My husband's quite all right. But the desires, we usually take desire as bad. So you're on your back, we're going to go into bridge pose. So you can bend your elbows or not. And just go into bridge pose for 5 breaths. So your feet are grounded, connect to the core, throat's open, shoulders are drawing into the back, and inhale, rise. I desire for you all to find the connection to your value, to your worth. That's what motivates me. I want you to feel good on the inside. I want you to be able to be patient. I desire that people can find the gifts that I've found and unlock the treasures of their own heart and their own expression. And if I didn't desire that, I wouldn't be here. So don't knock the desires. But what we let go is of the attachment. I show up regardless of who shows up and how it serves you. Because how it serves you is completely up to you and your own desires and your own way of how you work with the oppositions and the tension and the stress. It comes from your own choice. And sometimes we have to fight like mad to really cultivate the connection to our ability to choose consciously. And it does not mean you're not going to ripple the waters. Now, after you've been here for those 5 breaths, lead with the inner thighs. Bring your hips down to the earth. Grounding the tail down, and then relaxing the back, and just breathe here. Notice your whole being. Go for another bridge pose. Feet are grounded, shoulders drawn to the back. Push the feet into the earth. Be persistent in your presence. Acknowledge the alignment. How are you receiving? And in that receptivity, how are you responding? Yoga is a practice of vulnerability, in my opinion. Which is why I think some people don't like virtual yoga, is they have to really sit with themselves. I love being social and I love doing yoga in person. But I am way more real in this element, I'll tell you that much. Lift behind the heart a bit more. Push the back of the head to the ground more so your throat is calm. And then exhale, lead with your inner thighs. Keep the core, the heart's lifted. You're leading through the inseams of your being, the inner essence of you. Tail comes down and then relax, breathe. No hugging, just really getting to know this straight line of entering the pose, sustaining the pose, and then letting the pose dismantle so we can build again. We need the persistence of spring. We need the persistence of the seasons. We need it to be stubbornly hot in August. It's just how it is. It's what lets the world create and renew and come alive. Feet ground down, draw into the core, shoulders to your back. As you're connected to the earth, inhale, lift up. Breathing here and just feeling more connected to your own alignment, your own engagement, your own presence. And then exhale, lead with the inner thighs all the way back down to the earth. Tail comes heavy, shoulders relax, find ease, let the ground hold you. Breathe in. So by being, being stubborn, we're doing this 2 more times, you guys. You're going to feel the greater fluidity that is creating the radical change within, the transformation, the shift of energy, the connection to your deep innermost self, and finding the ability to celebrate all that's there. Ground into the feet, shoulders to the back, push into the earth. Your outer hips are lifting you up. Throat's open. Notice if you're like, I wish we could just do wheel pose. Why are we doing 5 bridges? She's not giving us choices today. Nope. But you're choosing how your attitude. You're choosing how you're showing up. There's lots of ways of looking at things. We're being persistent and understanding how stubborn opposition keeps us motivated. And then lead with the inner thighs, using your core. Shoulders are drawing to the midline. Head's heavy, feet are heavy, all 4 corners. Bring the hips to the ground and pause. Allow. We have 1 more. When's the last time you did 5 bridge poses in a row? Shoulders into the back body. So the shoulder blades are drawing into the midline. Right? The heart's lifted, the core is engaged, the arms are anchored, feet are heavy, and the feet ground into the earth. And notice what would happen if we took our foundation out. How would we sustain this expression? So we want to be present to that energy. The downward force of the head and the feet, and the upward lift of your pelvis, your outer hips, the back of the heart. The inhale and the exhale. And then exhale, lead with your inner thighs, hips come to the ground. Deep breath in, a deep breath out. Stretch your arms out from your shoulders, keep your feet where they are. Roll your knees to the left. Breathe into that whole right side body. Even stretch the right arm, keep the right arm strong, but stretch the right arm by your ear. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale your knees to the center, arms go wide, knees move over to the right. Belly rotates to the left, left arm stretches long. Inhale, come all the way back through the center, arms go wide. Okay. So this next version is up to you, what you have accessibility into, okay? We're gonna go into wheel pose, but we're not gonna do slow, long holds like we did bridge pose. So we're gonna move a little more fluid and fast. You can also feel the more concrete energy. If you can clasp your hands, you can always be here and then rise up, right? If wheel pose is not in your wheelhouse. It's not in the energy of your embodiment today. Ooh, that's a good one. Energy of embodiment. Hands come down to the ground. Somebody help me remember that. Energy of embodiment is it's something I am working on. So energy of embodiment. Okay, so you got to tune in to you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go, hands are grounded. You're going to find your feet. I actually make my feet wider and turn the feet out so I can honor my low back, because that instability is persistent. I'll tell you that much. So you're going to find your positioning. Hips lift up. Shoulders drawn to the back. We're going to inhale, rise up. And exhale down. Inhale, rise up, right? We're doing it 5 times. Exhale down. Inhale, rise. Exhale down. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, rise. Feel the expression, the fullness, the embodiment of you. And then exhale. Notice how you're leaving. You're landing on a rose quartz. You gotta move it. Pausing. So stopping here, finding your feet, readjusting. You've traveled, you've moved. In your persistence, things have still changed. And then lead with the hips all the way to the ground. You're gonna just come to the earth. So you gotta release the shoulders. Let the low, don't force the back. Let the back melt towards gravity. And then stretch your legs out long. Now, unless you feel like something's gonna snap or break, or your head is gonna explode, just stretch your legs out long. I don't have enough room, I'm running in to the wall. So stretch your legs out long and just pause here. Feel a very settled energy after your wheel pose. Notice what is stubborn in the body right now. Is it physical, mental, emotional, or soulful? I mean, spiritual? Just be a witness to it. It does not matter if you could do wheel pose or not. What matters is that you show up on your mat. You show up for yourself. And you're showing up for one another. You're showing up for me in the knees. You may not realize it. You guys get to see me. I don't get to see you. I don't know who's watching this. I don't. Well, I mean, I know a few of you. Those of you who communicate, I know. But otherwise, I don't. Roll over to your belly. Okay, come back into that Sphinx pose, drawn to the belly, shoulders drawn to the back. And as the shoulders are hugging towards the midline, lift through the core. Let the heart move forward with a ferociousness and that commitment to allow your inner light to come fully forward in your life, in your endeavors, in the energy of your embodiment. There's a trick if you say things out loud 3 times. They usually hold more weight, which is why when you work with the energy of cycles, that once you come up with your intention, you say it out loud 3 times. Big breath in. And then the next step is to say it out loud to yourself in the mirror so your energy, your presence can receive your intention, your outer form. Exhale, melt down. Hands under your shoulders. Shoulders drawn to the back. Inhale, sweet old cobra. Lift through the core. So, hands are grounded. Belly's lifting. Move through the inseams of your legs. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward dog. Little steps. Walk the feet forward. Pull into the core. Okay? Now, if you feel vulnerability in your low back, I'll tell you right now, I could not have done those wheel poses on Saturday. But today, no problem. Draw into the belly, step the left foot back, knee to the earth. But I will tell you, it was not 100% like, ooh yeah, that felt amazing. I'm not made for wheel pose. Inhale, rise up. But I've learned how to take the alignment and understand myself. And that's what yoga's for. Pull the waistline back, left elbow, right knee. Palm stack, elbows go wide. I have not done a low lunge twist with you guys in eons, it feels like. Breathing all the way in. Breathing all the way out. What a brilliant day. Stay with your breath. Hug into the midline. Inhale, back to the center. Hands to the earth. Back knee lifts. Move back, downward dog. Left foot, step forward, Uttanasana. I did not mean to go into downward dog. Right foot goes back. Right knee to the earth. Pull the strength of you together, right? Be persistent every time. Notice how, every time, right? That's that stubborn opposition. Your body was in one place, your mind asked for something, and then, whoop, it came together. Find that ability to hug in, length, right elbow to your knee, shoulders to your back, pull into the core, open. Footsteps, and door's about to open. Oh, she's just standing outside the door. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Hug into your core, inhale, Pull back into the center. Hi, Lou. Hands to the earth. Okay, go for it. Hi, Lou. Cheese stick. Okay, well, I'll be there in a second. Hi. Nope. Lift into the core and move back, downward dog. You can have a spoonful of peanut butter. Big, gracious breath in. And a big, gracious breath out. So we are in downward dog. Feeling the connection to the breath. Knees to the earth. If you can sit on your shins like this, great. If you can't, it's fine. As you're here, I want you to feel the connection to your core, the lifting up through the sides of your being, the lift through the crown of the head, and this stubborn opposition of the desires and our resources, our vulnerability and our safety and security. The myth is that's where the Buddha became enlightened. The Buddha was a Taurus. So the place and practice of non-attachment, right, is the relationship of a stubborn opposition. We have, we desire. And sometimes what the universe desires for us is different than what we feel steady in. So we're going to sit and pause and breathe, finding length through the spine. You place your hands where you find ease. Okay, I have really long limbs. They feel good here. You place them where they feel best to you, maybe on your heart, maybe together. Maybe index finger and thumb together, or maybe pinky finger and thumb together. And if you have grounded into the earth, if dropping a grounding cord is familiar to you, sweep through the energy of your center line, and then as you exhale, drop your own grounding cord. Be anchored into that core essence that keeps the earth afloat, spinning on its axis. Like, talk about stubborn and persistent. Feel the power of gravity and the fluidity of your breath. Not trying to control or dictate the breath, but rather allowing. Hear the sound of Nick Jr. in the background. That as you're here steady so much continues to fluctuate around you. And not trying to force a stillness, but rather allow a sense of presence. The world is being cracked open, and we're here alive to bear witness to it. a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. You're going to come lying down, or I'm going to invite you into downward facing Shavasana, like a full pranam. It's up to you. But come all the way to the earth so you can rest. Big full breath in. And a big full breath out. Just as you are, bathe yourself in the light of you. However you need to, slowly find your way into a comfortable seat. And as you find your seat, notice how there's that energy that opposes the energy that's calling us forward. That there's a heaviness, yet there's an upliftment. There's a sense of being centered and integrated, yet expansive and more free. And the energy of embodiment with a stubborn opposition, or we're invited to glance inward and acknowledge the layers of our sense of self, our identity, and beyond. We become more prepared to choose with the resources we're given. But we have to also believe that we deserve to have our desires, that we deserve to be vulnerable in safe environments, that we can confidently cultivate boundaries based on our values. And we don't have to go at war with others who see differently, as long as they are not causing harm. But we offer the compassion. We release the attachment to everybody seeing things our own way. And we appreciate the diversity of the divine. You can bring your hands together at your own heart center. Namaste, 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 Namo Namaha. We call in the divine beauty and the guidance of the highest to carry us forward. So as we open our eyes, we greet with the acknowledgement of the divine in all things, and all beings and everywhere. Namaste. I appreciate you for joining me live, replay, wherever you find this, however you practice, whether it's detail by detail, or it's just a narrative as you move on your mat, or maybe it's just a narrative as you reflect upon your own life. However it serves you, I hope it serves you well. Leave behind anything that isn't going to, and just know you're appreciated deeply and divinely, not just by me, but by the universe as a whole, because we are all children of the universe. And thank you for the hashtag hope. Yes, I appreciate you guys deeply and divinely. I will be here Tuesdays and Thursdays. I am changing the name of the group. It's ideally going to happen with May 1st, so I just got to be prepared. It's hard to start things in May when Derby's happening. That's just changing to Be Real, Be True, Be Soulfully You. So, and more on that to come. So, and if you are curious about the energy of you and how to embody that energy, I will be letting you in on some opportunities very, very soon. So until then, be the light that you are. Stand in your fullness. Understand that opposition is a way of life. And be you. Be real. Just be who you are, just as you are. Because you are a child of the universe. I can't help but say it. Ciao. I love you guys. And thank you so much.